Students, I am Raghavendra Kumar Singh, teaching faculty of US Academy and Institute. Today we will discuss class 8th geography subject, first chapter, resources. First of all, look around yourself. What you will find? Most of the things, just like water, rickshaw, fan, cycle, utensils, vegetables, textbooks, and most of the electronic gadgets which we use to fulfill our needs. This is known as usability. This usability or utility of an object or substance is a resource. So, what is resource? Anything that can be used to satisfy or fulfill our needs is a resource. This usability gives it a value. So, all the resources has some value. Value should be economical or not, such as metals like gold, silver, iron have some value, but a beautiful landscape may not. Both are important for us because they satisfy our needs or human needs. Some substances can be changed with the help of two important factors: time and technology. People themselves are the most important resource because with the help of their ideas, knowledge, and skills, they invent and discover most of the useful things, which leads to the creation of more resources, such as discovery of fire, which leads to the practice of cooking, invention of wheel, which leads to the transports. Now, number one, the resource. What is a resource? Anything that has some utility to satisfy our needs is known as a resource. Human beings are important resource. Their ideas, knowledge, and skill leads to the creation of new resources. Then, what do you understand by the type of resources? There are three types of resources. Number one, natural resources. Number two, man-made resources, and human resources. What did you understand by the natural resources? The resources which are drawn from nature and used without much more modification are known as natural resources. In this natural resources, we are able to categorize it in two sectors. Number one, renewable, and number two, non-renewable. These terms we will discuss later on. So the next topic is human-made resources. What did you understand by the human-made resources? Human-made resources are those resources which, when the original form of natural resource is changed by human beings to make it more useful, then it is called man-made resources or human-made resources. Then the next one is human resources. Human resources are the people's only. People's are human resources because education and health help to make people's a valuable resources. With the help of these substances or these terms, they are able to make new technologies to develop different type of resources into special resources. Then on the basis of their development, resources can be classified into actual resources and valuable resources and potential resources. On the basis of origin, resources can be classified as abiotic resources and biotic resources. On the basis of their distribution, resources are classified in ubiquitous resources and localized resources. On the basis of their stock, resources are classified as renewable resources and non-renewable resources. Now, the question arises, what did you understand by the actual resources? Actual resources are the resources whose quantity is known, such as rich deposit of coal in Ruhr region of Germany and dark soils of Deccan Plateau in Maharashtra. After that, the potential resources. Those resources whose entire quantity may not be known and which are not being used at present time are known as potential resources. For example, uranium found in Ladakh may be used as a potential resource. Then after that, abiotic and biotic resources. Abiotic resources. Abiotic resources are non-living, while biotic resources are living. In abiotic resources such as soil, rocks and minerals, which are abiotic, means they didn't have living characteristics, while in biotic, plants and animals are the resources of biotic because they are living objects. Then the terms we have left before, ubiquitous and localized. Resources that are found everywhere, like air we breathe, water we drink, are ubiquitous resources. But those which are found only in certain places are localized resources like copper, iron, and many more. Then the renewable resources. Renewable resources are those which get renewed or replenished quickly. For example, solar energy and wind energy. Non-renewable resources. Those resources which are present in limited stock and once exhausted may take thousands of years to renew. Now the topic come to the conservation. We have to conserve these resources, otherwise non-renewable resources will get exhausted and people will face a shortage of food and shelter. So we have to store them, or we have to use in a limited amount. So please conserve the resources, because resources conservation is that type of concept of using resources carefully so that they do not end up quickly. The future generation also need the resources. But if we keep using them at a fast pace, they may end up thus posing problems for the future. We should use resources in such a balanced way that we satisfy our need as well as conserve them from the future. This concept is called sustainable development, and human resources development refers to the improvement of people's skill so that they become more useful than before and are a better resource. So we can contribute to sustainable development by switching off lights when we need, by recycling things and using them again, and in many more ways. So any substance like living beings or services that has utility can help us in many possible ways is said to be resource. A resource has some value. The value can be associated with money you have to pay or to get, or just mental satisfaction. When we look a beautiful painting or scenery, it feels pleasant. So the paintings or scenery has utility. Examples of resources include books, stationery material, clothes, utensils, furniture, your teacher, school, river, water, electricity, and so on. The economical value of resources may change with time and technology. A substance may or may not be a resource depending on our knowledge. If we do know about how to write with a pen, then certainly the pen has no utility for us. So, in this case, the pen is not a resource. However, for those who know how to use a pen, it is a resource. So, technology, idea, knowledge, invention, discoveries, etc. make a substance a resource. Resources may be natural, human, or human made. When people realized that water can be used to produce electricity, water became a resource in a new way. Time may also be a factor involved in making a substance a resource. Natural resources are those resources that are taken from nature. They are used without modifying them. In the same way, form as they exist in the river, lakes, air, soil, mineral, trees, mountain, etc. These are the natural resources. On the basis of level of development of resources, a natural resource can be actual or potential. An actual resource is one which is used certainly or currently. We know their quantity, example coal. Then a potential resource is one whose utility is not known at present or is not used despite using utility. Instead, it may be useful at some time in future. It means that it has the potential to have utility, although it does not have any today. Examples include uranium deposit in Ladakh. On the basis of origin, a resource can be biotic or abiotic. Biotic means one that has life. Abiotic means non-living, such as soil, rock, furniture, and books. Natural resources may be classified as renewable and non-renewable. A renewable resource can be used without any risk. They exist in unlimited quantity, for example, solar and wind energy. On the other hand, while using of non-renewable resource need to the controlled since once they end up, such as coal and petroleum. On the basis of their distribution, a resource can be classified into ubiquitous or localized. Ubiquitous, a resource is found everywhere, like air, water. But in localized resource, it found in a certain place, any one place, which is found approximately only that place. Like we cannot find coal everywhere. Then the human-made resources have been provides us by nature. Human beings have used their intelligence to manufacture them from their own, such as the examples of vehicles. Much more vehicles are there, from cycle to large ships, buildings, one story to large buildings, roads, telephone, etc. Human resources also include peoples who serve us in any way, such as teacher, doctor, carpenter, cobbler. These are the human resource. Human resource development refers to the improvement of people's skill so that they become more useful than before they are and change into a better resource. So, resources conservation is more important for us. The concept of using resources carefully so that they do not end up quickly. The future generation also need these resources, but if we keep using them at a fast pace, they may end up thus posing problems for the future. We should use resources in such a balanced way that we satisfy our needs as well as conserve them for the future also. This concept is called sustainable development. We can contribute to sustainable development by doing much more things such as planting trees, switching off lights, and less utilization of our vehicles, which can harm our environment, and use those things which can be recycled again and again so that we can conserve our resources and in many more ways.